Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Gabriela here. In today's video I will show you a couple of best glute exercises that I have been doing recently, but also I have been doing them long term as well. I will start with the dynamic warm-up. Remember that we do not want to start our lifting sessions with the static stretching. Instead, we want to do dynamic movements and the mobility drills. Why not static stretches? Static stretching, and so when you are holding the muscle in the lengthened position for a couple of seconds has actually shown drop in the performance. So what we want to do instead, as I said, is the dynamic stretching, and we'll be warming up always the muscles and the joints that we are using in the certain workout. So for example, we'll be training the glutes, and we know that we will be using not only the hips, the knees and the ankles, but also think about your lower back and your spine as well. I would say as well, I would be warming up the spine and the lower back before every single workout, because even if you're training upper body or you're training your core and your abs, your lower back and your spine are always engaging there as well. So that's something that you want to warm up every single time. So I will show you a bunch of exercises that I like to do before my lifting session, which are always the same for the lower body, but then I will, towards the end of my warm-up, I will just do some more movement specific exercises. So for example, we'll be starting with the squats, and so I will do the movements that are more specific to that. So first I will start with some movements for the spine. What we want to do, get to this position on 4 and make sure that you're not arching but engage that core. First we will do the bird dog, when you extend the opposite leg and opposite arm slowly down, and make sure that the whole movement goes through your core as well. So you want to keep those abs engaged, and don't forget about the breathing. So as you drive up, exhale, and when you return, breathe in, inhale always to your belly. The second exercise we will be doing in the same position as well, and we will do the cat-cow. So we'll arch as much as you can, breathe in, and as you round your back, breathe out and keep the belly in. Again, rounding as much as you can. Breathe in, look up to the ceiling, and out. We'll move on to the back, and we will do some dead bug. And down here, extend your arms. The legs will be in 90-degree angle, and now again, opposite arm, opposite leg. You will try to reach as low as you can. This will depend on your mobility and the core strength as well. So what we actually want to do is breathe in as low as you can. But for example, some of you might have a weaker core, or you are just not used to the movement, and so as you reach down it will be very hard for you, and because you will not be able to keep that weight of your legs, you will start arching. Okay, so try to go just as low as your back will not be arched. Okay, as you feel comfortable, breathe in. All the tension is here. Breathe out. Inhale. Again, this should be slow and control movement, always mainly focus on the breathing. I also like to do, but you don't have to do this exercise, for example. I just extend my arms to the side and drive with both of my legs to the side. This will help me as well, just to adjust my spine a bit and warm up. Again, focusing on the breathing as you go down. You inhale and exhale. The next one, I like to also do 90-degree hips opening stretch. Lean to the back, support yourself with your hands, or if you are more advanced, you can just keep your hands in front of you and try to stay upright and drive to the side. Okay. Both of your knees will reach all the way down to the floor. If you're using this variation, make sure that you're not moving and rotating your spine all the time, okay? So try to really stay upright. Again, if it's too hard, you can just use your hands for the support. and start from there. Now I will move on to the more specific exercise for today, because I will be doing some squats as a first exercise, like this one actually. So you go to the squat position, just make sure that your feet are not too close because you will be struggling. My mobility is quite good in this bottom position, but for a lot of you, you might need to go a little bit wider. Just make sure that your heels are down on the floor. You don't want to be on your toes, okay? So just as you feel comfortable here. And what you want to actually do, just grab your shoes or just grab your ankles, push up and extend completely. Now breathe in, try to keep the chest up and out. The feet are staying flat on the floor the whole time. Breathe out, breathe in, out. This also helps not only to warm up for the squats and for any other movements that you will be doing in your lower body session, but also to build that confidence at the bottom of the squat. So if you're for example struggling to do the squats and reach that low, yes, it is mainly as well because maybe you are using too heavy weight, but also because of your mobility. So what you want to do, maybe before or after your sessions, you can do this kind of movement just to help your body to feel better at the bottom. And I'm also doing like leg swings with the straight leg, or you can reach up and swing back. And what it does basically, it warms up your hips. You don't want to be kind of squeezing or anything like that, like when you're doing kickbacks. No, you just want to kind of get those hips working. Other side as well. Just a couple of repetitions. And the second movement, similar to this one, it will go to the side. So basically like a straight leg abduction. And the other side. Okay, so that's done. I will start with the squats. Please guys, make sure that you are warming up before every single session. Not only lower body, also your upper body session. That's what many people forget doing, and what happens, you will start having little aches, then it starts moving into the bigger pain, and you can even get injured in the long term. Not only on the spot that you will do something very fast, but doing the repetitive movements for a longer period of time can lead to an injury as well. And once you start having problems, it is very, very hard to go through that, and you can have even the problems until the rest of your life. So please do not do the same mistake as I did in the past, because I didn't pay attention to any sort of warming up, and when I came to the gym I straight jumped to the session. Or basically what I did, what many people think, that I came to the gym and I went on a treadmill and I did, let's say, 5 minutes walking on the treadmill or on Stairmaster, anything like that. That is not like, you are literally walking already for half day. So what is the difference between walking at home or when you're walking to the gym and when you're walking on a treadmill? Absolutely nothing. It's not about increasing your heart rate to warm up for your lifting sessions. No, it is about warming up actually your muscles and the joints. Perfect. So we'll start with first setting up the barbell, and what we want to do, actually the barbell should be at your chest level or just slightly higher. We don't want to set the barbell too high, but also not too low. If it would be too low, it is just uncomfortable for you to pick up. And also if the barbell would be just higher than this, for example, you would be struggling to unrack and you don't want to go on your toes or anything like that, especially when you finish your set. It will be hard for you to rack it back. So always at the chest level, so just like this. And this will be a perfect position for me to unrack my bar. So you just go under, squeeze the shoulder blades together and push up. Now we'll just do 2 steps back. There is a rule actually of the 3 steps, so you don't want to be going back, 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 okay? So once you pick up the bar, from here you will do 3 steps only. 1, 2, and third one will be just to the side when you will get yourself to the right position. And so from this angle you can see I'm driving the hips back and finishing with my quads, just the horizontal. I'm doing 10 reps for the warm-up. Okay. This movement can seem a little bit different what I want to achieve actually, because weight is now too light for me, and so my body, because it's used to a bit heavier weight, then the body is just moving a bit more forward. But once I will have that weight loaded, then it will be easier for me to kind of shift that weight back as well. And so now I will start loading. First I will be starting with the 40 plus kilograms, but before I start the first working set, I will still do like 30 kilos, just a couple of repetitions to warm up before I will just jump to the 40 kilograms. Get myself some 5 kilo plates, one and the second one. And so we will repeat everything again. Placing the hands, just make sure always that they are the same, that one is not wider. You can have them closer together, you can have them a bit wider. It also depends on your shoulder mobility. First of all, they are not too wide because it will be hard for you to just balance out the movement as well. So if you have the hands closer and the whole arms are closer, you can actually engage your lats and you will be more fixed in that movement. You will get greater balance, but the main thing is still just placing the hands exactly the same way. And once you place them, then you will just go to the middle, right between your arms. Remember, just 3 steps allowed on the way back. Engage the core and focusing on stretching the glutes at the bottom. So the warm-up is done. Mind that I'm a bit more advanced, so if you're more like a beginner, you just need probably like, I would say 3-4 exercises. You know, it just takes you to warm up for like 5 minutes. You don't have to do so excessive warm up or anything like that, but always the heavier you will be lifting, the more time you would need to actually spend warming up, because the chance of you getting injured is a bit higher. But of course, I don't want to scare you. It doesn't mean that you'll get injured or anything like that. But by doing the warm-ups, always you want to avoid anything like that happen. Not heavy, hot. So we'll move on to the second exercise, which is glute bridge. The difference between glute bridge and the hip thrust is basically just in the range of motion. For the hip thrust, you are going a little bit lower. For the glute bridge, I would say it's like a half of range of motion, but you might think that the more range of motion, the better. But the point is that your glutes in this movement are working the hardest at the top. When you reach here and you contract your glutes, you basically squeeze them together. So the lower you go, you do not get more of the glutes that much. There is nothing like one is better than the other. I'm always saying, get strong on all of them. Okay, so do not try to choose, oh, this is the best, no, there is nothing like the best exercise. Do all of them. Do all the variation, all the rep ranges, all different tempos, and that's the most optimal thing when you want to grow glutes, because you don't want to do, let's say, oh, hip thrust is the best exercise, so you will do only hip thrust, and now, oh, the best range is 4 times 10, and you will be forever doing the hip thrust 4 times 10. Of course, it will not grow, so it's all about the programming as well. But let's go back to the glute bridges. So if you are doing your hip thrust, your range of motion would be kind of here. You see how my knees are going back and then front. For the glute bridge, same movement, but more controlled, and you will finish just here. Okay, so your knees will stay basically in the same position compared to the hip thrust. So you go just here, slowly, and again then return and contract your glutes. So we are getting, again, all of them basically because they are working the hardest at the top. So we'll start with that. You roll the bar nicely on you. If you can't use the big plates, big Olympic plates, which would be the minimum 30 or 40 kilos, if you're just starting with the barbell, you can just place place the steps or just grab the small one that you just place on you, but as long as you can move onto the 30 or 40 kilos, always use the big plate so you can just roll that nicely on you. Do not try to pick it up and then, you know, try to get yourself to that position. Always roll the bar on you, your feet, not too wide. Okay, this will disadvantage the glute max. So what you want to do instead, keep the feet just a hip width apart, point your toes out slightly. This will allow you to contract your glutes at the top better. Compared to if you have feet straight, you will engage, you'll feel more of your quads. So always place them out when you train your glutes in the shortened position. And once you will drive through the heels, you'll contract at the top, you'll feel your glutes so much better. This is quite a lightweight for me actually. I'm doing 14 reps. And this will be kind of like half of them will be slow control movement and half of them a bit faster. I'm moving at the top range, but my glutes are getting all the tension back. Instead of if you go lower for the hip thrust, you would get more of your legs, your quads. Just breathe. The next exercise I will be doing will be RDLs. The key here is not to go too heavy because many people do go too heavy and then they are just failing to kind of contract the glutes and all the tension is going to their back. So what you want to actually do, drive the hips back and straight. That should be the lowest you are going. If you go lower, you will be hitting your lower back, and also you don't want to keep the legs too straight because then you will get more tension in your hamstrings. So you want to do something in between basically. I'll be using 20 kilo dumbbells, but I'm strong enough in order to do so. If you're going again too heavy, even if you're using the barbell, then you will get more tension and stress in your lower back and your erector spinae rather than in your glutes. So do not go too heavy and make sure that you are engaging the glutes in the movement. I'm also always using the straps because it helps me to hold the dumbbells. If I wouldn't use the straps, my hands would be and my grip would be just failing me. So always using the straps. Okay, so the key is to stretch the glutes, drive the hips back, and from here squeeze the glutes. You are squeezing from the bottom, not from the top. Okay, so again, engaging the glutes and contract them. Also, another important thing is that your feet are not too wide apart, because that's what I see a lot of people doing. So they place the feet wide and rotate the toes out, and it's not a good position for hip hinge movement. So what you want to do actually instead, feet only here with the part, not too close of course, because you wouldn't have that stability and also you will be struggling to hip hinge. So what you want to do is you have the hips, feet just straight and toes pointing straight, and this will actually help you to drive the hips back, because you don't need to rotate the feet. You're rotating feet when you want to contract at the top. That is the best position, but because this movement focuses actually on stretching the glutes, that's where you want to have feet straight and you're just driving back. That's where you can stretch your glutes the best. And this is actually the thing that helped me so much to see the results, because before as well I was placing my feet too wide and I just couldn't feel my glutes as well. And of course I got some results, but since I switched the stances and I understood better how to place my feet and how to position my toes at the same time, I could see the way greater results in my glute growth. And another exercise I love so much is the belt squat, but if you do not have this machine, and especially if you're a beginner, I would suggest to do Strad Lift instead. So basically it's the same movement, but instead of being fixed in the machine, you would have the dumbbell or kettlebell, and you would do basically the same movement. But why I would recommend the beginners to first start with the Strad Lift, it's because it will teach you how to do that natural movement, because I can see a lot with this exercise, with this machine basically, so most of the people actually are doing it just wrong, and they are not engaging the glutes at all. Either all the tension goes into the knees or the back, because they are holding here and they just pushing the whole way. They are kind of hanging off the machine, and they are not letting that those muscles to engage in the movement. So that's why it's so important. Okay, so the key here is not to place your feet wide. That would be more like a sumo stance, but what it would actually do, instead of having the tension and using your glute max, which is this big muscle, it would go more to your glute medius and your adductors and your legs. So what you want to do instead, place your feet closer together, and you will be focusing on driving the hips back, having the toes in a 45-degree angle, and getting the most stretch in your glute max at the bottom as possible. Okay, so you go kind of here and drive up, hips back. So you see, I am not hanging off the machine. I'm not like reaching back or anything like that. That's when I'm hanging. Okay, so imagine that you are not even holding that. Just touch lightly, or if you have your dumbbell, that'll be the same. So toes at 45-degree, all the tension goes to my glutes, and now I will drive through the heels and squeeze the glutes again from the bottom, not at the top. And also we don't want to go too low, so again the femur, this bone should be just horizontal at the bottom. If you go lower, again you will just hit more of the quads and your lower back. Perfect, so we will have only the abduction, the cable abduction and cable kickbacks in a superset left for this workout, and we are done. We'll start with cable abduction. I'm using these cable ankle attachments. Some gyms, they do have them available, but in some they might not have. It really depends where you are, but normally you can just get these for like 10-15 pounds from Amazon. First I will do 12 reps for the abduction, so I will just step a little bit back. The key is not to be going too high. You don't want to kind of break and just using that momentum, anything like that. You want to make sure that the core is tight and all the tension is going to your glute medius and glute minimus. So just go until you can. Again, if you would be trying to go higher, you would have to break the body, so you don't want to do this movement. So stay nice and straight and focus at the bottom, going slightly across to get the most stretch, and then you contract at the top. Nice and controlled movement. And here 11 and 12, okay? And the second, I'll go with the same leg straight into the cable kickbacks. You want to step slightly back, toes at 45-degree angle, and I will drive up. We reach slightly forward and back. So you are training here your glute max in the shortened position. You don't want to go too low and kicking up. Again, that will hit more of your back. You want to stay like in a 45-degree angle and point the toe out as you go up, so you just rotate slightly. I also like to add 1 second pause at the top, because that will get me to feel the glutes way better, engage them better at the same time. And of course, don't forget your breathing. Okay, we will do the other side as well. So now this leg is done. Again, Very lightweight for the abduction. Always start with the lightest possible, because if you're going too heavy, even when you do the third or fourth spin, it'll be too much. This muscle is very, very weak. It's small. That's why you just do not want to go heavy, because I'll be using completely different parts of your body instead of isolating that muscle. So very lightweight. Honestly, I'm on the smallest one, and I've been training for so many years, and as an athlete as well, so you don't need to go heavy. Nice and controlled. Okay, and the kickback for this one can go a bit heavier, because that's the glute max and that is the strong muscle. So for kickbacks you can go slightly, but again not too heavy, because again you'll be using the momentum. The tension will go to your hamstring, to your lower back is what you can see very often, and you will not get the glute max in there. So slow and controlled, contracting here at the top. 1, 2. The workout is done. These are literally my favorite exercises. Of course, there are more, so I will be doing more videos. So please make sure to subscribe and like the video if you liked it. Also, guys, please leave down any comments if you have any questions, or if you find the video helpful. It will really help me to grow as well and to reach more people like you and help more people at the same time. I'm just going to stretch, so this is exactly the time after the workout that you want to use the static stretching when you're actually lengthening the muscle. So I will just do that quick, and I will see you then after in the next video. Bye.